with us so many interesting facts about St. Thomas and St. Dominic, and of course for inspiring us with their teachings, anchored on the three C's. So I'd like to call on the Vice Rector for Academic Affairs, Professor Planita D. Camillo, to award his Certificate of Appreciation to Father Orellana. So, the Royal and Pontifical University of Santo Tomas Office of the Vice Rector for Academic Affairs, through its Office for Faculty Evaluation and Development, awards this Certificate of Appreciation to Reverend Father Jose Antonio E. Orellana, OP, for having generously shared his time and expertise as resource speaker on the topic, an appreciation of the legacies of St. Thomas and St. Dominic de Guzman in the orientation for the new faculty members held on June 26, 2014 at the Multipurpose Hall of the UST-AMD College of Accountancy, given this 26th day of June 2014 at the AMD COA Multipurpose Hall, University of Santo Tomas, España, Manila.
Okay, salamat.
Let's give a round of applause. Thank you, Father Orellana and Dr. Camillo. Okay, well, after we have heard Father Orellana talk about the legacies of St. Thomas and St. Dominic, whose teachings continue to illumine the university, now to find out more how their teachings are reflected in our system as an institution of higher learning, to elaborate the threefold thrusts of the university, we call once again the Vice Rector for the Office of Academic Affairs, Professor Planita D. Carrillo.
Thank you. So that's why I had to make welcome remarks for you. We're short because I have another session with you this morning. So nagtitipid sila sa speakers. So I have been tasked to at least share with you another topic this morning on the threefold thrusts of a university. Okay. By the way, the picture is here courtesy of Paul Kiambal, our own student, who also manages to take beautiful pictures of the university kahit na binabaha. If you see it in Facebook, right? Kahit pa anong okasyon sa UST, pag siya ang kumuha, maganda. Okay. So, at least just to make us aware, physically, we are 21.5 hectares here in the heart of Manila. We're hoping to have 2 other campuses soon. Hopefully in Jensan and Santa Rosa. We are a private higher education institution. So basically, our resources come from our tuition fees, okay, which we try to manage in order to sustain the operations of the university. And we are administered primarily by the Dominican Order of Teachers. So that's why we have to start this with a background of who are the Dominicans. We are the largest Catholic university in the world in a single campus. And the topic today is, okay, what is a university for? That's the first question that we have to ask. When we look at some literature, for example, the one of Karl Jaspers, in the idea of a university, there are 3 functions for a university. For professional training. Nowadays, when we say professional training, the professionals are those who have to earn their licenses, right, primarily. And then we have education of the whole man. So it's not just now competence in a particular field, but also, as mentioned by Father earlier, in the liberal arts, in the humanities. So it's not enough, for example, that if I belong to math, I only know math. But we hope that in the university, in the unity in diversity, we also get to learn so many other things about the other disciplines to make us complete. And we also have a university as research. It's good, I think, that we are internationalizing. Every university now in the Philippines is going international. Why? Because it has opened our eyes. For a while in the Philippines, when we speak of the university, it's basically to what? Churn out graduates who will find jobs. So these are the professionals. The concern of parents when they choose universities is that, papasa ba sa exam ang anak ko? Pag dyan nagtapos, magaling ba yung ganitong kurso dyan? Magkakatrabaho pa, and so on and so forth. So many HEIs in the Philippines at least focus only on instruction. But in the last at least 2 decades, we have already opened our eyes that if we look at the counterparts, if we look at other universities in the globe, when we speak of university, the main role is to produce new knowledge and disseminate this new knowledge. That's why the role of research is very important. So there are in fact universities that will not, let's say, hire you unless you have a doctoral degree and you have a publication. And then they also see how many times you have been cited already for your researches. Ganun na ang level. So, since we are in UST, it's not just what is a university in general for, but we also have what is a Catholic university for. So we have to add the qualifier Catholic to us being a university. So yung sinasabi natin always that the university is the Royal Pontifical Catholic University, these are not mere empty titles. They are supposed to have meaning. So there are many Catholic universities in the country, but the title, the Catholic University of the Philippines, is given only to UST. You notice in many issues also, UST makes a stand, especially if it affects the faith, because we closely work with the church. So taken from the Apostolic Constitution, the Supreme Pontiff on Catholic universities, the Catholic University has always been recognized. This should be our role. Okay? An incomparable center of creativity and dissemination of knowledge for the good of humanity. Okay? So there are 3 key ideas here. We have first an incomparable center of creativity, meaning to create. Okay? We have dissemination of knowledge to share, to instruct, to teach. And both these things will not end for the sake of themselves. We do these things for the good of humanity. Given those functions, we also have to consider in the Declaration Gravissimum Educationis that the university cannot do those functions by itself. Who consists the university? Basically, we have the students. The students in some universities are called clients, right? So the major stakeholders are our students. But who now become agents of the mission and vision of the university? The teachers. The lay teachers. We may have all the administrators around them. We have the students, but who goes to the classroom and get in touch with the students directly? Teachers. In fact, we're saying teachers are so important because when we speak, for example, of the quality of the institution, we first and foremost look at the teachers. No amount of advertising, for example, can create a good image for the university. We can spend so much for what? E-boards, for advertisements in the newspapers, or even on TV. If the students will come home and tell their parents, walang kwenta. Kasi sa classroom namin, laging wala yung teacher. Or yung teacher namin ang weird. Diba? Kung ano-anong pinaggagawa sa classroom namin, kung ano-anong pinagsasasabi. Or, it's supposed to be a class in, for example, English. Pero tinatake up namin autobiography niya. We have all been students. We are aware of what teachers do and what teachers should not do. So the best walking advertisement of the institution is the teacher. Kayo. Kayo. So, gusto ko lang kayong takutin. Ganyan kabigat yung inyong responsibilidad sa UST. What UST is in the eyes of the students and eventually in the eyes of their parents and even their relatives and their friends will depend on what you do and who you are as their teachers. So, unahin natin the first role, instruction, dissemination of knowledge. Of course, in order to achieve this, there are certain basic competencies. As sinabi ni Father earlier, our 3 C's in our identity, let's start with competence. So, alin ang dapat mauna? Confidence o competence? How many will say, confidence muna? Ganda sana, hindi ba ganda? How many will say, competence muna? O marami will say, hindi ko pa alam. Hindi nagtaas na naman. Okay? When we speak of confidence and competence, dapat mauna ang competence. Otherwise, we will sound like empty gongs, di ba? Empty vessels. I'm sure kayo din, ayaw na ayaw nyo yun, ang lakas-lakas ng dating, tinatangay ka pag nandiyan sa faculty room. Di ba? Pero pag nagsalita, ang tanong mo, may substance ba? May ba? Kasi confidence will come in if you know that you know what you teach. If you know that you know what you're doing. It will come. So, very puro confidence or bravado, pero walang substance, walang competence. Diba? Siguro first few meetings, makakaloko yan. Pero you cannot sustain, nor gain the respect of your students, or even colleagues, or even your superiors. Diba? So, kailangan mastery. We cannot be 1 page ahead of our students or 1 website ahead na ngayon. Lesson namin ngayon, itong chapter na to, so I will read about it tonight. O siguro na weekend, medyo bigay naman ako ng allowance. Instead na 3 pages ang cover namin, yung babasahin ko muna yung first 5 pages. You cannot. We require mastery, especially in your time now. Kasi anything you say now can easily be verified, di ba? Or validated. Kung mga naka-3G pa yung estudyante nyo, anytime they can Google. So they will immediately validate whether what you're telling them is true or not. Totoo ba yan o hindi? Namumula ba si sir or si ma'am o hindi? Google. Kaya nga ngayon, di ba, we have changed already the paradigm of the teacher. The teacher is not meant for a sage on stage. Nung araw, pwede yun. You're the sage on stage, you're the only authority inside the room. But now the teacher is merely what? A guide at the side. Because there are many sources already of information now. The only role that we have is to help them process the information so that they become knowledge. Or in other words, they become useful information to them. Facilitators na lang tayo noon. And at times, because there is yung data overload, we help them organize and process all the information that they get so that they can make sense out of it. Pero hindi na pwedeng mag-bluff. Imagine, you declare an untruth in your classroom. There are 45 students immediately who can verify that. At kung hindi totoo yung sinasabi mo immediately, you lose credibility in the presence of 45 people. Babalita pa nila yung post pa nila sa Facebook. So we need mastery of the subject matter. Sabihin nila, kaya pala requirement na ang master's degree. Literal. But in a way, May reason dyan, di ba? Kasi pag masters, ibig sabihin, hindi na kayo magka-level lang na nasa undergrad. You're at least 1 degree ahead of them. And supposedly, you have already advanced your level of understanding and competencies in your particular field. Mastery of the medium of instruction. There are courses that will have to be delivered in English, other courses to be delivered in Filipino. There are some units that will really appreciate if you deliver most of the courses in English except Filipino. So in general also, although we don't have the very democratic sa UST, we don't have a language policy right now for our medium of instruction. So we just hope that our teachers will speak in English at least in one statement, and if you have to refer to Filipino, do it also in one complete statement. So I think those who are teaching language here will say, you don't code mix, but you can code switch. Why? Especially if you deliver jokes in Filipino, diba? Mas benta yan. Pag kunwari nagpapatawa ka tapos English, parang masyadong high level minsan. Hindi mag-gets. Pero kapag ang ginamit mo Filipino is so close to the heart, and so, usually you're more effective. So, to spice up teaching, sometimes we have to code switch. But I hope that, let's say, we are requiring them to recite or we are requiring them to write, then we also try to develop mastery of the language. Mastery of methodology. We don't hold, let's say, an orientation like this where you come from different disciplines. We don't hold the same, for example, for a seminar in methodology. Why? Because we know that each discipline has its own effective methodology. And so we cannot lump all the disciplines together and just discuss now methodology here, believing that it will be the best way to teach your various disciplines. Normally, what we hold in the university are faculty development seminars for each field. So it depends on your department. That's where you will have such experiences or such updates regarding methodology. Nature of the learner. Well, a lot of you are younger already. So more or less, I think you can easily relate also with your students, especially as they are digital natives. Huh? Digital natives. For them, technology is as simple as the light switch. They were born into it. Unlike our generation, some of you can relate with me, do not deny. When we encounter gadgets, normally we look immediately for the manual, the instructions, that how to operate, and so on. Our students belong to a generation that does not need that. You give them the gadget, it's as if there's a built-in chip inside that already shows them how to use the different features of the gadget. They're not afraid to manipulate the gadget and use it for several purposes. Kaya yung mga nari-cellphone, diba? Every now and then may introduce na bagong model. Kung naman gusto mo lagi bago ng bago, latest to ng iPhone, nari 5S na. Pero alam mo ba rin gawin? Call at text. Hindi maximize lahat ng features ng gadget. Sayang. But give the same gadget to young people now, lahat ng features niyan na ma-maximize nila. So that's the nature of the learner that we cannot deny. Kaya sa klase ngayon, without visuals, without multimedia, we simply drive them to sleep. Ang span of attention nila, sabi nga ng isang expert sa amin, nabuhay sila, pinanganak sila ng mga MTVs na napapanood, where you have images, at least 3 images per second. Hindi mo pang mga telenovela natin sa gabi, na kapag may isang sitwasyon na nangyari at 3 yung character sa eksena, close up muna si actor 1, reaction. Close up actress 2, reaction. Close up actress 3, reaction. Diba? Parang kailangan lahat muna dadaanan ng camera, magre-react. Napakatagal, napakabagal. But that's not how the minds of our students now work. It's so fast. So it also shortens their span of attention. They easily become restless. If you're talking of the same thing for, let's say, more than 7 minutes or 10 minutes, and you're showing to them the same visual for the rest of the period, wala. We totally lose them. So we have to also know what interests them. Being in the academe makes us look younger than our age. Younger than our age. Hindi madaling tumanda pag nagtuturo ka. Because you are in constant communication with young people. Diba? I am tempted to ask, how old am I? Hulaan niyo. Kaya baka mas matanda sabihin niyo, masira ang ako. Pero example lang to, di ba? I am 47. I am turning 48. Outside UST, when I encounter people, they always, when I introduce myself, representing UST, what is the immediate response that I get all the time? Ang bata mo naman. And I have to explain to them, no, I just look young, but I'm already like this. Because sometimes we will see people of the same age, perhaps they don't work in the academy, looking a lot older than their age. But my take here is perhaps it's more of whether we're happy with what we do or not. Whether we're in the academy, if you really love teaching, you will remain young. You're outside, you're with the industry, you love what you're doing, perhaps you can also remain young. Pero sa atin, ang given kasi, nandiyan yung mga estudyante. We pick up their lingo, diba? Ano yung mga uso sa kanila ngayon? Pag may sinasabi ka, medyo passionate ka, sabihin nila, malalim ang hugot. May pinaghuhugutan mo kayo, ma'am. Di ba? Immediately, may response silang ganoon. Tapos ano ba yung sinasabi nila? Marami silang expressions, and we get to make them part of our vocabulary too. Because we are in constant contact with them. Even yung mga artists now, kailangan, kung saan yung mga taga-high school dito, there's no way that you cannot know One Direction. Kung bakit sila umiiyak sa pila ng One Direction concert. Diba? So, we have to know their word. And we use their word when we meet them in our classes so that we can establish rapport. Kasi magugulat sila eh. The moment we make allusions to things that are part of their word, immediately we get their attention. Mastery of technology. So I think all of you already here are comfortable with the basic educational technology, right? Wala na tayong problema doon, I think. Kasi kahit ako, I have an aunt who is, 85 years old, and she does Facebook. So, kung gusto, pwede. We cannot always say, but I'm too old for that. No. The only creature who would say that I'm too old to learn something new is a fossil. So So, for me, someone who refuses to learn something new has fossilized. Any fossils here? Lourdes Custordio, Lourdes Custordio was the former Dean of the College of Education. She served for more than a quarter of a century, I think, as Dean of the college. So, she's the Dean Emeritus. And for her, for those who have known her perhaps in their lifetime, former members also of the College of Education, we would know how lofty she thinks of the teaching profession. And she was telling everyone that before our students are considered professionals, we have to look at them first as human beings. Human beings. So if you have a class of 45, kasi that's the limit of the class size now, and you notice that there's a vacant chair there, perhaps for more than 2 weeks already. By that time, you should already be concerned, right? What has happened to the student? Are we that type of teacher? Or tayo yung, nawala ba siya? And you just realized it because you were already doing the grades at the end of the semester. How many among you bother, because a lot already have teaching experiences, how many of you bother at least to know your students' names? If I were a student at tinawag mo ang pangalan ko, ano ang mararamdaman ko? That gives me a sense of importance. That gives me a sense of identity and recognition. Kilala ko ni Sir. Kilala ko ni Ma'am. At least alam ang pangalan ko. So that gives me presence in the classroom. And it's very effective for classroom management. Pero yung dumaan ang buong semestre, sabi ko lang, you. The most convenient pronoun for you. Gagandahan mo pa, yes. And that's how you call them the rest of the semester. When it comes to evaluation, you don't even know. Sino nga ba ito? Sino nga ba ito? Ano bang ginawa nito sa klase ko? Diba? It helps, it motivates them. Kasi alam nila, hindi ako tawagin anytime. Because there is a name. And sometimes they were baptized with a name that they do not want. So when you are doing your seat plan, be considerate. You can ask them, how do you want me to call you in my class? Yeah? So immediately, establish rapport. And then that's how you will call the student for the rest of the semester. Huwag kong tawagin sa anong pangalan na medyo kakilakilabot, ang ayaw na siguro ipatawag. Pag yun ang ginamit mo sa buong semestre, torture, no? So you can ask, how would you like to be called? And that's one place that you know that in your seat plan. That helps. O ikaw yung wala man lang seat plan. Meron ganon. Wala na nga seat plan, wala pang class record. Kaya mangyayari next time, wala ka na rin load. So, competencies. On the technical side, we teach. But because we're in USP, there is also the side of preaching. Okay? Preaching, that's the order. Imagine that the religious order that's running the university did not call themselves Order of Dominic. They call themselves Order of Preachers. Because the order wanted to be called by what it does. And since we're part of that institution, that's also our call to preach. Yan ang ayaw ng mga kabataan ng preaching. Yeah? So preaching, sabihin nila, turn off attendance nila. So the way we preach is simply to walk the talk. We make rules in our classes. We follow our own rules. We hate it when students arrive late, and we also come on time. Katulad ngayon, maraming late. Tinandaan ko naman yun. if it's the call time is 8:45, that's the start of the session, you're here before 8:45. You come after that, may importante ka. If I were to quote our parish priest, favorite line niya ito, pag may example siya, ang arte mo, hindi siya lagi. Because you're making it appear, pa-importante ako, I can count anything. So unless you have a life and death situation, you respect other people's time. You respect your students' time. You come on time. Your policy in your classroom is what? You don't talk against your classmates. You don't talk against your teacher. Tapos ikaw, teacher, kung kwento mo yung buhay nitong estudyante mo, doon sa kapwa niya estudyante. Tama ba yun? Diba? Especially if you got information that's privileged, something shared with you as a coach or as a mentor, then you also value the confidentiality of information shared with you. The preaching competence is a very tall order. Ito kasi Mother Teresa-like. Pag anak kong nagsabi, Mother Teresa-ish. Kaya ang language of young people, no? Lahat na lang may ish. Mother Teresa-ish na yan. Because Mother Teresa said, let those who see me see Christ through me. Okay? So, we don't have to be crucified on the cross too. But we can always try to follow the examples. Hindi natin, even Christ, for example, gets mad. Nagalit siya. Pero nagagalit siya for the right reason. Hindi pwedeng teacher na nagagalit sa klase kasi hindi ako prepared. Para maubos ang 1 hour na yun, magagalit ako. I can deliver a sermon at the mount. So meron lang bumanaw na estudyante, bakit ba likot-likot mo? Napaka-disrespectful mo, etc. Alam mo, hindi dapat ganyan ang mga Tomasians. Idadami pa, kunwari concern sa Tomasian identity. Diba? And it takes the whole hour. Yun yung mga style ng mga teachers na hindi prepared. Another style is, ano ba yung teso namin ngayon? Eh, siya yung teacher na. Ano ba yung teso namin ngayon? So, since hindi siya handa, ito yata yung topic. Okay, class, get one whole sheet of paper. You write a reaction paper about this. A reaction paper that lands in the locker and never gets checked nor returned to students. Ano sabi ko, kabalugdaran ng teach, she. And if I were to quote my teacher before in religion, sabi niya, class, I only want you to remember 2 things. Patay na siya. Pero, parang lahat na mabubuting tao na mamapay sa storya ko naman. Pero parang narinig pa namin siya. Sabi niya, there are only 2 things that you have to remember. Anywhere you go, whatever happens to you after you graduate from this school, God sees you. God loves you. Dalawang bagay lang. And true, right? Wherever we go, whatever we do, if we know that God sees us, can we dare do something wrong? No. We only do something wrong when we forget that somebody sees us. Pero kung alam natin, kahit walang tao sa faculty room, meron pa rin nakakakita. Kahit na hindi yung CCTV. Kasi ngayon may CCTV ang classrooms. Pero we know something sees us. I don't think we will dare do something wrong. Another, for a teacher, pakitingnan yung mga kapatid mo. Pagmasdan nyo lang. Harap, likod, katabi. Okay. Ngayon, may tanong ako. Nung tumingin kayo sa paligid nyo, ilan sa inyo ang nakakita ng isang masayahing tao? Taas ang kamay.
Masaya.
Nakakita kayo ng masayahin na kaluluwa.
Nakita ko si Rolo. Nakita ko si Rolo.
Ganun.
Diba? Imagine the scenario. You enter a faculty room.
UST naman
When
tayo
you
ngayon.
enter the faculty room, you are greeted like, hi, good morning, it's Monday again. Or you enter a faculty room and you encounter a person na, lumis na naman. Talagang ito sa university, talagang dapat kasi, ano ganyan. Tapos, ano yung kapitbahay ko, ano yung nakakamiss talaga. Ano yung asawa ko, dapat talaga namang malapit ko ng iwan. Dahil mga anak ko walang binibigay sa akin, hindi problema. Tapos kung tinignan mo, laging lungkot ang mukha. Diba? Laging madilim. May black shadow na kasunod pag naglalakad.
Wala na.
We want to see cheerful faces. We want to be with positive people. The world has already a lot of problems. Pero yung pareho ng tayong problema, huwag mo namang ibuhos sa akin araw-araw pag magkatabi tayo sa faculty room. Kasi, by experience, di ba? Minsan parang gusto mo na lang, I mean, you want to lend an ear kasi some people really need people to listen to them. Pero araw-arawin ka naman for the whole semester.
Huwag naman.
Ganon din yung mga estudyante natin. Okay? When we also have students, we enter the room, there has to be the glow as a teacher. Our supervising teacher before said, the teacher, despite all the advancements, remains to be the first visual thing. Papasok ka ng classroom, mukhang baho-baho mo. Gaganahan pa naman yung mga estudyante mo. Kung hindi ka man na nagilamos, hindi ka nagsuklay, di ba? Sa dumi-dumi ka na. Sapatos mo, gusto, nahabot ka kasunod ng plancha, nahabot ka na. Gusto ng estudyante mo, maganda rin yung nakikita sa harapan. Eh ngayon ba naman, kasi selfie ng mga yan, we have a generation that's so vain. Di ba? Lahat tinitingnan. Lahat pinapansin. Hindi kailangan mahal. Ang kailangan lang maayos. Hindi kailangan na laging bago. Ang kailangan lang appropriate ang tawag namin. Eh, mahal-mahal nga niya. Kita naman ang kaluluwa mo, magkalibis-libis. Kasi mga uso sa mga babae, matitipes, di ba? Nakalimutan mo magsuot ng undershirt. So, wala sa cost, but nasa propriety. Yan, nawala tuloy yung slides ko. Bumalik, napindot ko, I'm sorry. Sa amin nga, kakatapos lang ng administrators leadership seminar, given nakalagay sa call namin, casual, smart casual. Sabi nga namin, pwede ba yun na jeans lang and shirt? Anyway, smart casual. Pero, we were also educated on the different levels of casual. Sporting casual, business casual, iba-iba pa na yun. Pwede nyo mang i-google yun, nasa internet. So, pag nagturo ka, huwag naman mukhang mamamalengke, huwag naman mukhang pupunta sa sports fest, unless ibeya ka. Okay lang yun. Ano yung dinedemo yung dalawa sa akin? Ay, sure ko, bakit? Hindi na pantay. Meron gustong magbigay ng photo para sa gitna. May available slot sa gitna. We can give this to your students. Sabihin namin, o sige, if you want, as part of the teacher's evaluation, teachers who should be placed in the middle square there, you put their pictures. Para next orientation, physical kayo, nandiyan kayo sa slides ko. Huwag ganyan. Papasok ka, mahirap, hindi ko na nga maintindihan yung subject mo, ganyan ka pa. Di ba, lalong mabablock ang aking understanding niya. Now, in the university, I'm talking of not only what happens in the classroom, but I was telling you earlier, you live in a community. You live in a community, and you will be also mingling with different kinds of people. In the college, in the department, in the faculty room, in the table that you occupy in the faculty room. Okay? There are a lot of people that you will meet. And sometimes, ang sabi ko lang naman, ang university is a Royal Biblical Catholic University. We have our mission vision. Hindi ko naman sinabing ito na ang heaven. So there are also sometimes elements that are not so ideal. And as human beings, we too, even if we are teachers, will sometimes feel discouraged. Sometimes we will feel frustrated because of the elements that we find. One very good prayer that each one of us can pray, can recite, can remember, and that can sustain our enthusiasm and our strength in what we do is the prayer of Mother Teresa. In my work, which is so difficult and even at times controversial, how do I manage to sleep soundly at night? It's just a matter also of conviction. If in conscience you know you have not wronged people, you can sleep well. And we pray this. Pray this. So I will invite all of you to read it with me. Begin. People are
often unreasonable, irrational, and self-centered. Forgive them anyway. If you are kind, people may accuse you of selfish or ulterior motives.
Be kind anyway.
If you are successful, you will be some unfaithful friends and some genuine enemies. Succeed anyway. If you are honest and sincere, people may deceive you.
Be honest and sincere anyway.
What you spend years creating, others could destroy overnight. Create anyway. If you find serenity and happiness, some may be jealous.
Be happy anyway.
The good you do today will often be forgotten.
Do good anyway.
Give the best you have and it will never be enough.
Give your best anyway.
In the final analysis, it is between you and God.
It was never between you and them anyway. Balik tayo sa sabi sa akin ni Sister, God sees me. So whatever we all do, it's between us and our Creator, between us and God, the door that we recognize. Intrigahin ka man ang sama ko sa trabaho, doon ka accountable sa taas. You're not here to be pleasing colleagues. Maganda kung nabiblis sila. Siguro ibig sabihin nun, you're pleasing and pleasant. But, at the end of the day, what counts is what is your relationship with Him. It's between you and Him anyway. And I am giving you this prayer because in any organization it's possible. Some of you might be the subject of some intrigues, or criticisms, or jealousy. I mean, as I was telling you, this is not heaven yet, so there might be some negative elements around. But take courage, take your strength from this prayer. What a copy, huwag lang yan. Now, is for those who were not yet here last semester. This is actually your still pre-UST days as teacher. So we are hoping that you will not very soon meet your post-UST days as a teacher. As much as possible, we want, especially some of, actually we have in some disciplines, recruits that are doing grants. Because you are very promising students. You showed very good, you have intelligence and good attitude as students. You graduated perhaps with honors, in fact, and we want to already invite you to be part of our faculty. So we're taking you in under special arrangements. So it's possible that some of you will also last for a very long time in university. We have faculty members who we honor because of 35 years, 40 years, even 45 years of service. Practically living their lifetime here in UST. Pero meron din naman one sem lang, wala na. One sem lang, wala na. And why? It's not just that you're intelligent, it's not just that you're competent, but we also have to look into how you behave and the values that you practice. Because we take seriously your role as teachers who directly relate with students. This is something that I got from the faculty CBA. So it's a collective bargaining agreement. And even in the union's Bible, we have this article and section specifying that the university is a Catholic university with avowed norms and principles, with its own ideals, and therefore we expect members of the community to respect those and abide by them. A grave departure therefrom shall be a ground for separation from service. From time to time, hindi naman lahat ang nagtuturo din sa University Catholic. Even the Pope respects all religions, diba? And we do that also in UST. But what we ask is that since you came to us, then you have to show some respect. Diba ganyan mga kabataan, show some respect. So it's the same thing. Respect. Kayo ang pumatok sa pintuan ng UST, gusto nyo pumasok, irespeto nyo kung ano yung papasok. Para tayo pumanik ng isang bahay, irespeto natin dahil tayo yung bumisita. Diba? Ganun din. So, we don't force you to be converted to the Catholic religion, but if we took you in, then at least show respect also for the norms and ideals of the university. And no teacher in UST can now claim of dual lives. Ano yung ibig kong sabihin? The moment you become a teacher, you give up your personal life para na kayong celebrity. You now live public lives. Because you'll never know, wherever you are, whether there is somebody there who knows you as a teacher of UST. You'll never know whether you're in a movie house, in a mall, in a park, whatever occasion, that there is a student there of UST who might recognize you. So you cannot say that what I do outside the campus is my own thing. Because there is no dichotomy of morality. O ito, legal to. Supreme Court ang nagsabi niyan in one decided case. So hindi kami kumukuha ng nasa LLRC level pa kasi i-appeal pa yan sa taas. This is the Supreme Court ruling. When it comes to morality, you cannot enter the teaching profession and then complain that the standards of morality and decency are too exacting for the profession. Given yan for the teaching profession. Okay? Given. So there is no dichotomy. Inside and outside UST, you belong to the teaching profession, so you observe good sense. Morality. Okay? Reminder yan. O, mga tips, practical tips na alam ko hindi maiwasan ng Facebook, which is actually a personal thing. Di ba? Facebook is so personal. Okay, some of you, when you start handling classes, might now receive friend requests from your students. Ngayon naman, okay lang yan kung ina-add nyo sila. But since ina-add nyo sila, and they can now see your accounts, and whatever posts you make, be careful also with what you post. Huwag naman kayo magpo-post doon ng ikahihiyan yung i-post namin sa faculty room. Diba? Kasi it's a social network. That's why you call it a network. It reaches out to so many people. Magpo-post nun, for example, mga selfie, for example, nilalagay, hindi na appropriate. Nag-summer kasi. Kung ano ang suot, siguro, nagpunta sa resort. Feeling niya pang centerfold. Frustrated model. Diba? Be prudent. That's what we ask. Be prudent with whatever you make public. Because you already allow access to your students, diba? As friends in Facebook. Imagine niyo, for one, you receive a letter from a parent. Bakit? Nakita ng parent. This is the, let's say, faculty member. The one handling the course of my daughter. Eh, yung picture parang bar. Nandiyan lahat ng alcoholic drinks. So, ibig sabihin na yun, hindi na kayo pwedeng uminom. May social drinking din tinatawag, right? Pero ano yung question doon? Because in the picture, you have the teacher and even some students. And it's not a very appropriate place to be drinking. Parang ang feeling ng magulang, dapat nga siya nagtuturo sa anak namin na huwag uminom. At siya tayo namumunang yan doon. Minsan, mas mahigpit at mas stricto ang mga magulang kaysa sa amin. Another example, we don't care about, we do care, but we cannot interfere with your personal lives, even with your sexual preferences. We have a lot of gay faculty. But we hope that you also maintain the respect of all your students. Walang magsasabing estudyante na kapag po kasi gwapo, pasado agad eh. Pag mga babae po, mainit ang ulo. May gano'n naman na reports. Minsan naman, disadvantage din pag gwapo. Pag gwapo po, ini-incomplete. And the gwapo become victims. Diba? Hopefully, walang ganun. So, kailangan. Alam natin kung ano ang tama, ang mali. Personal behavior of teachers in and outside the classroom must be beyond reproach. Careful lang. Diba? Prudent lang. Masagwa na ba ito? Tama na ba ito? Because when students learn about what you do, you always go back to whether when you face them in front of your class, you remain credible, you remain worthy of their respect. You should know their boundaries. Ngayon, we are more of the horizontal relationships, diba? In the workplace. Before, the paradigm of management is too vertical and hierarchical. Vertical yun. But ngayon, we already have in management what we call flattening of organizations. So I can see this even in the relationship between teachers and students. Diba? Mas may bonding minsan with students now, unlike before. Before, parang marinig mo lang yung takong nung gantong teacher, umiiwas na kayo lahat sa corridor. Diba? Pero ngayon, hindi na ganon. There is a friendlier relationship. Why? Because young people now need people, older people with whom they can share what's happening with them. It's a good thing now if they are able to share with us teachers. Kasi mas mahirap hindi natin alam. Mas mabuting alam natin ang nangyayari so that we can do something if there's a need to do something. Pero wala tayong alam because we're not approachable enough, then that's where the danger lies. We cannot guide them because we do not know that there's a need to guide them. So siguro yung sa iba sa inyo, instead na very formal na sir and last name, minsan sir and first name. May mga ganong faculty kaming alam. Or ma'am and then first name. Instead na Ma'am Santos, pwedeng Ma'am Ann. Because that removes a little barrier between you and your students. Okay na yun. But just make sure that you still know how to draw the line. Now, aside from teaching, we need your competence, and we also need competencies not only to teach but to preach. Another expectation that we have from the faculty is to help us in our role as an incomparable center of creativity. So this is where you give me 5 minutes remaining. Kaya ano kinuha ni Father 15 ko. Okay lang. Yeah. Okay, research. So most of you, if not all, already have master's degrees, I suppose. Okay? So that means you have already acquired a level of research skill which can contribute to the research productivity of the university. Yung ibang, perhaps part-time, we don't have yet their master's. But I suppose even in the undergrad, we already have thesis requirements. So more or less the skills that are there. Try to develop all these skills. The university is very generous with this. Once you become tenured, okay, we have what we call the research conversion of your teaching load. Meaning, if it's 21 units or 24 units, we give as much as 12 units converted teaching to research load so that you can belong to one of our research clusters in the university. And you can have enough time to do your research work. When you have a very good paper, it gets accepted for conferences, for academic fora, we finance. We give you travel grants, we give we pay the registration, we pay the accommodation, as long as you carry the name of the university for a good paper to be presented in a scientific forum. Every 2 years, the university has a research recognition awards. So it's not just flat, but also a little cash incentive to reward those who publish. We also have our thrust now for publication in ISI and Scopus Index journals. Meaning, hindi basta-basta journal. Mamaya, kapatid ko kayo publish it. Pero a reputable, peer-reviewed ISI Index or Scopus Index journal. And we also have cash incentives that are, medyo naman a little rewarding. So maraming binibigay ibigay para matuwa ang mga faculty members na gumawa ng research. Okay? There are a lot of incentives. Our problems, in fact, is that we don't have enough takers yet. All these incentives have been there for at least, 15 years? Okay. And we have yet to reach that level that we want to achieve for the percentage of faculty who are into research. So that's one of the directions that you can plan for yourselves. If you develop yourselves in terms of research skills, there are a lot of works. In fact, let's say you already have masters and eventually you become tenured. If you have the fixed term appointment, don't be disheartened, because when things normalize and you have performed well and we have a need for teachers, we appoint you, that becomes automatic tenureship by the time. It's just that in the next 2 years, we cannot guarantee it. Okay? So what happens is if you become tenured after a while, okay, and you want to pursue higher studies like your doctoral degrees, the university has a study leave will pay the moment you have an approved dissertation proposal. As a tenured faculty, that is not done in other universities. In other universities, they tell you come to us when you have a PhD and publication, then we give you tenureship. In UST, we help you grow. So, the moment you are tenured and then you pursue partially, perhaps per semester, 6-9 units, and then eventually you write your proposal, you have it approved, then for a year at least, you can have a study leave with pay. What does that mean? You get paid as if you are teaching, as if you have your own salary. But what do? You just write the rest of your dissertation and complete your duty. So there are a lot of things that you can look forward to stay with the university. And for you, it's an investment to start getting interested in these things. In fact, we were telling some of our tenured faculty, if you develop your research skills, you don't have much fear, you shouldn't fear the K-12 transition. Because there's always research as long as you can have an approved proposal. So if you develop that competency and you don't have many notes to teach, there is research for you. It's a fallback. But of course, it's up to you to invest in your skills and in your competencies so that you don't become obsolete. Our flagships for research: science and technology, health sciences, social sciences and education, arts and humanities, sacred sciences. Right now, I think with those who have been with UST, either as student or as faculty last said, you must have heard of our research clusters. Okay? So we have the RCNAS, that's for the natural and applied sciences. We have our RCSESI, which is for cultural, educational, social sciences, but which we are splitting already. So that there will, starting this year, there will be a separate research cluster for arts, the humanities, and philosophy, and there's another one now for education and social sciences. And we also have for the health, allied programs. So if you're from nursing or teaching nursing, PT, OT, you're under CRS, or part of pharmacy, then that's also a separate cluster. Then we also have for those with IR, we have another one for religion, for ethics and theology. So there's always a place under the sun for each one of you. It's just a matter of you being interested to pursue the opportunities that are available. So yun ang masabi ko, imbis na unahin ang mga reklamo, unahin niyo muna na pagyamanin ang inyong mga kakayahan. Because if you have the competencies, you will not run out of opportunities in the university. So the focus on research is supported by the demand also that we have outside. PACUMOA and even PAASPA accreditation requires research if we want to reach level 3 to 4. For COE and COD application to be recognized by CHEC, there has to be an evidence of strong research. For the university rankings, whether in Asia or worldwide, there is also a requirement in the criteria being used for research. It's 60% of the criteria. If we differentiate now, at least for you to see, that's how it is divided. Under Asia ranking, peer review is 30%, papers per faculty is 15 citations per paper. So in other words, it's not enough that the faculty member publishes. The publication must be cited by another researcher. So that's 15%. For the world rankings, that's how it's divided. So peer review, 40%, citations, 20. In academic peer review, they actually email officials, administrators, researchers, scholars from different universities. And in the email, they will ask you, please name the top 5, for example, top 5 universities that you know in your region, in your field, in your specialization. So that's how they get the peer review responses. So on your part, engage in creative and scholarly pursuits. Invest in yourselves. Conduct research studies pertinent to courses taught. Even let's say if right now you might not be eligible yet for the different incentives being given for research, nothing can stop you from doing your own papers and presenting them in academic conferences. Utilize up-to-date. It can start also with instruction. When you give the syllabus, make sure that your references are updated. Your activities with your students involve them doing also their readings and doing their research. You can integrate that as part of instruction. Instead of old books, you prescribe journals. In fact, I've been telling the department chairs for GEC, I don't believe anymore in textbooks for GEC. This is university level. Instead of one textbook, which is so limited in terms of knowledge that can be gained, you're supposed to be preparing a list of readings. That's a university level education. So if you're still thinking of prescribing one textbook, we can assign you to the high school department. Then help students develop research skills, but you cannot pass on something that you don't have. So you have to develop it first, so you can develop students. One very good structure in the university that I always cite is the College of Science, where there is a very strong mentoring. Their students already become their research assistants, or they do a collaborative work together with the teacher, so that by the time the students graduate, they have the competencies. They finish their masters and they become our own faculty, and they also develop now the same skills. Last one is for community service. So if this is an invitation, I will not talk so much about this because this has a separate session with you. But right now, we have the umbrella of our community development program called Simpahayan. So I think the invitation will be extended to you by the director of the Simpahayan office either this afternoon or tomorrow. So just so you know, because I told you earlier, our pride is your pride, our glory is your glory, you're now part of UST. Now, it doesn't mean that we have to be enemies of other universities. You know, when our Dominican fathers poke fun at the Jesuits, that's just in good banter. Okay? That's not serious. So do not get the impression that the Dominicans and Jesuits are at war. No, that's not it. But they can those are just friendly banters for them. But for UST, here, performance and licensure, we remain to be among the top performing schools in these departments. Okay? If you're part of this, make sure you help sustain and you don't help destroy. Next, accreditation status. We still have the highest number of PAPOCOVA accredited programs. Okay? So we don't simply open a lot of programs in the university. We make sure that they are accredited and they observe quality standards. We are also moving towards international accreditation of different programs. Those in black are already effective. Those in red are in progress. Okay? So engineering, we're working towards Washington Accord. And for tourism, we're working out HEICE, an international accreditation. Academic linkages, right now we have 47 partner institutions. I think this has gone bigger already. And then 18 countries. Okay? So that's part of the very near future directions that we have. We want to have not only student exchange, but also faculty exchange. That's why I'm telling you, invest in your credentials so that we can send you out as exchange faculty, or we can even send you out for your doctoral studies. That's our trust now. As much as possible, among tenured faculty that have master's degrees, if you can find scholarships so that you can study abroad, okay, get them, and we give study degree. So we already sent out in Taiwan, we have in Germany, we have in Singapore, we have in Hong Kong, we have in Belgium. That's the thrust of the university. We want you to earn your credentials abroad. So invest in yourself so that you can have opportunities later on. And recognitions. Okay. When Ched first gave the autonomous status, we were already there. They did it in 2007, and then supposedly it will end this year, but Ched decided that all the autonomous will be extended until December. We will have our renewal early next year. These are our centers of excellence. So the duty of these units is also to help other HEIs to develop in these particular areas. We also have centers of development, all our engineering programs, plus SHORN, DIP, physical therapy, and psychology. That's why we're very aggressive also with the levels of accreditation. Because before we can become a COE or COD, we have to have at least level 3. And in 400 plus years, we want to say that hopefully we can safely claim that quality is not just an act, but it is a habit of listening. This has been presented by Father earlier. Medyo mahaba-haba pa rin. We have already had many workshops trying to shorten the mission for better memory, for better understanding, but that's the most that we can do. So you just take note at least of the highlighted words. Okay? So professional and moral formation and social transformation. Our mission is the same: production, advancement, transmission of knowledge, and we never stop only to serve the church in the nation and the local community. So that means it's not just for personal interest. We never work only for personal interest. We see that with a lot of very promising, with much potential faculty members. At first, there was much promise, but the person was just so engrossed with himself or herself. And it was never meant to be for the service, let's say, of the university, or for the service of others, or for the glory of God. And at the end, nothing happens. Nothing happens. So if one is always preoccupied with oneself, one's world becomes a lot smaller too. How many are married again? Raise your hands. Yung iba hopeful. Married na muna. Okay? So, remember your marriage vows. O, isisinantabi niyo na. The wedding ring has become suffer ring. Hindi naman. Okay? Remember the marriage vow. To have it to hold from this day forward, forever for worse, for richer, for poorer. In other words, whatever happens, we remain together. We make an adaptation, everyone is free to teach and to preach.
From this day forward, each new batch of students, whether better or worse, whether teachers' salaries make us richer or poorer, as long as the Lord permits to love and cherish the retirement to us.
That's our vow. Thank you.